Hey everyone, welcome back to another Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to take out the large water elemental in the basement for your first big enemy achievement. Taking it out also nets you a couple of nice pieces of loot, namely a ring and an amulet, which will definitely help you when it comes to the last boss. In my opinion, this is probably the second hardest encounter in this whole place, short of the boss. But if you cheese it this way, it's more of a test of mental fortitude than of your ability to build your characters or gear them out. And I'm about to show you why right now. If you were to attack this thing head on and do it legitimately, I can't imagine doing that. I imagine you would need some pretty hyper-optimized builds on all your characters. You'd need to make sure everyone's gear is all up to par. The maximum level you can reach by this point is really level 2, unless I'm missing something. And there aren't too many spells that you can cast that are really going to help you. And your damage is not going to be high enough to really kill this thing head up. And your tanking ability, it's going to, it one-shots basically everybody. I'm sure there are probably builds out there that can tackle this at this level. But if you're an average player going into this game blind like me, then you probably ran into this thing and you're like, okay, this is impossible. There is literally no way to take this because it actually just one-shots anyone you throw at it. So you can see what I did, right? I ran down to its room. I've let it back up through the main hall. We're going through the barracks area. And you can see where I'm headed here. We're headed towards the shrine area, right? So we're going through the kitchen now. Just make sure you keep hitting it like I am, right? So pause every now and then, make sure you cast Divine Zap or shoot it or something, because if you don't, it will de-aggro and then just run back to its spawn point. And when it's on that path back to the spawn point, there's really no way you can prevent it from going all the way back and resetting. So you'd have to start this whole process from the beginning, which is kind of a pain. So there are two ways to do this. Well, actually three I think ways that you can really approach this. I'm showing you one of the ways now, which is a way that I did. It's probably not the best way to approach this. So later on I discovered auto casting and I discovered other rooms in this place that are far better suited for this encounter. So you can see where I'm leading it, right? This is the room. It has 2 archers in it, actually 4 archers in it, which I've obviously cleared already. And there's a huge pit in the middle that is basically impassable terrain, and I'm just kiting it around there. So, and just nuking it at every corner. Making sure I put enough distance between myself and the water elemental that it cannot, catch up to me during the cast time of Divine Zap. So I'm not auto-casting here. I'm actually manually casting, timing everything, and this is a painful process, I will say. And the reason I'm using Divine Zap as opposed to range damage here is because Divine Zap is a guaranteed 1 damage, whereas if you shoot it with a crossbow, sure, you may land a hit, and the hit may occasionally do well over 1 damage, but 99% of the time you're going to be missing. So here I'm just gonna warp through the whole process of actually taking it out with a Divine Zap. As you can see, it is a ridiculously lengthy process and takes a lot of, I would say, mental fortitude to just keep focused, to make sure that the thing doesn't catch up to you, because if it catches up to you, it will one-shot you, and you can't save while you're in combat, so that would mean basically restarting this whole process from leading it back over here all the way from the basement, which is definitely not pleasant. So I'll let you guys watch this real quick just to get an idea of how long it took. I will say this footage, this section of the footage that's sped up, is sped up 5x. So multiply there you can see I almost got hit. It turned around because I went too far away from it, and then it decided that the shortest path to me was backwards rather than continuing on the path it was. So now I'm leaving it the other way around. Definitely not the most efficient way to do it. And besides the 3 ways that I'm going to show you in this clip, I'm sure there are other ways to do it that are a lot more easy. There are probably ways to approach, as I mentioned, there are probably ways to just tackle this thing head on with good builds. But if you're going into this game blind like I am, you probably, unless you're actually using guides and stuff, it's very unlikely that you're going to be building well enough to take this thing head on. Okay, we're almost at the end of the sequence, and so the other two ways I'm going to show you are not really, they're not too different. The primary difference is the location that you're kiting the water elemental, and by changing location, it actually makes it a lot easier, and I'll show you why. So here's the kill shot. As you can see, no loot, nothing. You do get your first big enemy achievement, which is cool, but it would have been really nice if he had actually dropped something for all that effort. Fear not, however. If you head down to the room where he spawned, you will be justly rewarded. There are a couple of nice chests in there. Well, one good chest, another one contains mostly common loot. The chest does contain good stuff, contains an unidentified ring and an unidentified amulet. Here, right, it says unidentified. But the second you pick it up and it actually enters your inventory, it identifies and then you can equip it right away. And at this point in the game, it's unlikely that any of your characters are going to be sporting any bling, so both of these, the ring and the amulet, are going to be very worthwhile upgrades to your power. And that'll help you tackle the final boss of this place, who is a huge pain. Now on to the first and probably best alternate method. Here we are back in the shrine room, and you can see the alternate path that we can take. Instead of going down to the pit room, you go up, and that will take you to another section of the maze. There's one room before the boss room, and that room, I believe, is probably the best possible location. And you can lead the water elemental into there, and that's a great place to kite it because it's a circular room with a space in the middle and 4 pillars, and you can just kite the water elemental around those pillars. With your party positioned in the middle of the room, have Camellia, just auto casting her divine zap. Have your other guys just unload their bolts, crossbow, ranged bolts. Make sure they're all ranged because you don't want them in melee, and just have Lan lead it around. The final alternative is this. This is the boss room, so you'd have to have cleared it. And this is the path that you would lead the water elemental on. So you'd lead it through that door and then lead it down the stairs and around. You'd position your party in the middle here. One thing to note is this, right? So right click on that divine zap. Make sure it's auto casting, and you can see the indicator there on the left of your character portrait, which shows auto cast is on. And then you just have your party stand in the middle there. Make sure you turn hold off, make sure you turn AI on, make sure they're all ranged, and they'll just kind of follow around the water elemental and nuke it while Lan is leading it around. I have no doubts that there are better ways to approach this, but this was my 50 IQ approach, the equivalent of bringing a hammer to a chess tournament or brute forcing a password. Leave comments down below if you found a better way to approach this fight, if you found a better way to cheese it, or God forbid you actually found a way to tackle this fight head on, which would be ridiculously impressive in my eyes. That's it though. Hopefully you found this guide, or if you can call it that, useful. Thanks for joining me.